Hi, welcome back, Home Sweet Gardens. My name is Amy. I am in growing zone 6A, Northwest Missouri. It is May 24th, 2021. Time for my weekly garden tour. Just bringing some stuff back down to the garden from the house. I use a basket. This time of the year I can use that because I don't have a whole lot of stuff to harvest. When it gets to be a little bit later in the season and I've got more things I'm harvesting, then I end up having to bring a different basket, a bigger one. And I also have a rue apron that I like to use. Oh, look. I have a hornet paper wasp that's trying to put a nest up in my greenhouse. I'm not very happy about it. Here is my newest Rockin' Raspberry Sugar Buzz Bee Balm. I gotta figure out, oh, look at the little flower on it. It's shaking like crazy. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna plant them. These are dry, so I need to put some water on them. Okay, so we'll go through the tour here. I spent some time this weekend and it's been raining like crazy. It doesn't look like we got any today, but we've gotten a lot of rain. It rained for, I think, like a week and a half, a week straight. And everything has just been so yucky and muddy, and so I was able to get out here yesterday, even though it was still a little wet. I was able to mow and weed eat and whatnot and get it, so it looks pretty good, because we're supposed to have off and on rain throughout the next week, and I think maybe even through the weekend too, which is kind of a bummer. Rain is good, but obviously don't want a whole bunch of it, right? So we'll get started here and I'll show you around the garden. Okay, so I think we'll start out here today. I've got my potatoes that I started. These are Yukon Gold, I do believe. You can see they're starting to come in a little bit. There's several in here, probably more than what there should be, but I didn't really have anything else to plant them in, so I stuck them in there. So we'll see how they go. But I can pull some out early and get small ones. I call those new potatoes. Basically, they're just baby potatoes. And then let the other bigger ones go if need be. Alright, so here is you can see the stripes in the grass because it's been so wet. So I've got my Brussels sprouts, which are looking very good, and my Yodfa kale, my one mislabeled. It happens, right? Oh, look at that. Get out of there, you little booger. Now it looks like I've got some pest damage. I've noticed some here and there. I don't like to put stuff on them unless I absolutely have to. So if it's just a few leaves here and there, I don't really mess with it. You know, like this one here. I've got some on the outside leaves that are getting eaten and whatnot, but it's not affecting the tops of it. So I'm not going to mess with it for now. If I see it's getting worse, then I would obviously have to spray or put something on them. Okay, these are Zucchini Rampakante. You can see they've got some starting here. One down here that's got a pretty good sized one on it. These will get really big. They're basically like a squash or zucchini taste. I've not grown them before. This is my first time, but that's what it says, is that if you pick them young, they're very much like a regular zucchini. Otherwise, they can get seedy and whatnot when they get bigger. I don't intend to let them get that big. Here's my green tiger stripe zucchini. I got one off of it yesterday. It was kind of small. It wasn't real big, but I don't like them to get very large. I like them, otherwise I think they get kind of seedy. You notice this one here, the end is brown, so I normally just take those off because there's no point in keeping them. They're not going to produce, they're not going to grow bigger, and I feel like they just kind of tax the plant. Excuse me. This is called butter stick squash. I think they're basically like your crooknecks, but just straighter. And here's a decent sized one on it. So they're coming in rather well. Again, they're not too much pest damage on them. When I'm going through and I'm looking at them, that's kind of what I'm looking at, is there pest damage. And then, like, see, here's another one that has the black on the end. It could be lack of pollination. It could be it's been so stinking wet out that that could be part of the problem too. I don't really worry too much about it when there's one or two. Now, if they all did it all the time, then that might be an issue. But see how they have some yellowing leaves? It's been so wet. Let's see, like that one there, it's got some yellowing ones. The dampness in the ground, they don't like to be soaked all the time, so they're not happy with that. But hopefully it'll dry up a little bit. Here's my plants. I have 40 tomato plants between these two fences here. I have white tomasol here up to the Bonnie Best, which are all indeterminates. Then I've got the end is the Martino's Roma, and then this whole line here is all Martino's Roma, and they are determinate. It took me a long time to figure out the difference. I kept having to look them up. Determinate, basically think of it's a determined size plant. Where they're going to grow, what they're going to put on, it's determined, that's it. Indeterminate means that they are just going to continue to grow no matter what you do. So you want to keep them trimmed up. So you notice I've cut off all the bottom branches, leaves. I don't want anything to touch the ground because then they can get blossom end rot and some other funguses. This I'll probably have to cut back. These actually look a lot better a few days ago, and I need to come out and do some more weeding here, get rid of some of this grass around them. But a few days ago when it was so wet, they all were just hung over, drooped, and I thought I might lose them all, but it looks like they're recovering. Again, with that weather, it's been so nasty. I've got these here, the string here, so that the plant can use that to climb up as it's going up to the trellis. These are Martino's Roma. And then several of them over there. Again, they're looking a lot better than they were. I thought for sure I was going to lose them all. So they look a lot better. And I may still lose some of them. I don't know. We'll see. And then here's my funky one. If you guys have watched the other videos, you'll know that I have this one oddity. It has that tomato plant feel to the leaves, and it has that smell, but it does not look like a tomato plant. And it's obviously not happy. You can see the ground is really, really wet. Just yuck. But when you clamp it like this, it'll go, but it also will break up pretty easy. So it's not super clay, but it is definitely clay through here. These are ones I just dug twice as deep of a hole as I needed, and then amended the soil around the plant. But this is pretty much virgin soil, if you will. Nothing really has been planted out here, so that might be causing part of the problems as well. Oh, I haven't moved my buckets back. They're supposed to go over there when I mow. My husband moves them for me because they're really heavy. But they're cute. They're starting to bloom. Aren't they pretty? Okay, so I've got nothing planted here as of yet. I've got onions and garlic. Looks like the garlic's coming along. They take quite a while to mature. So last I checked, I dug down a little bit and there wasn't really any bulbs. Excuse me. The onions are getting huge, but last I checked on them, they didn't really have too much of a bulb on them yet either, so I just kind of let them go. Strawberries, I have a few strawberries that are starting to ripen. You can see the one got ran over and the mower. Funny story, my husband was digging through some scrap stuff and he found a snake, a garter snake. And so I said, well, put him down in the garden because they don't mess, I don't mind snakes. So they put him in the strawberry bed that was down on the other side over there. Well, I came down, 3 or 4 days later, and I was over here looking through and picking weeds out, and I saw something move, and then caught my eye, and then I was looking and saw something again. Well, it was that gardener snake. I'm pretty sure it's the same one. He had made himself a little home in there, so I'm good with it. They don't bother me. Let's see. Kitty, what are you doing? Kitty? She's over there sniffing. All right, here I've got my black Nebula carrots coming in very well. Looks like I'm probably not going to have to thin too many. I'll wait till they get a little bit older and then a little bigger, and then I'll start thinning them. My roses, I'm starting to put some flowers on. Yay, I'm excited. Oh, here's one. Check that out. That is so pretty. So, here I have got two types of lettuce. I've got Little Gem over here, and then Butter Crunch here. They're very, very thick. I'm going to need to get in here and start thinning them out and pulling the trees out. You guys have issues with trees, I swear. Trees just like to grow everywhere. I think it's maple with the little, I call them whirligigs. My alums, oh, they look so pretty. I just saw somebody on a gardening page. They said that when their alums, the color goes out and they turn brown, they spray paint this a color so that they can keep their color throughout. Well, that's kind of a cool idea. Pretty neat. All right, my peony bush, oh, it was so beautiful. It had blooms everywhere. The whole thing was just loaded. And then the wind came and it blew all the blooms off, so I cut them all off. I've got one left to bloom. It's so pretty. They smell so good. I've got another peony bush here. It didn't put any blooms on this year, but this is only, I think it's second year. And it's kind of getting choked out by the strawberries, so I may end up having to move it. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, got my Greek oregano, which has really taken off quite a bit. I need to cut it back some. And my rosemary looks really good. Can you tell I was weeding mode and I haven't put my little guys back yet. I put these bricks down and planted creeping thyme, and when I put it in, it was really little spots, and it has just taken over, and I think it looks so good. And I come out here and pull the weeds out of it. It doesn't keep all the weeds out, but it does a pretty good job, and I think it looks good. And radishes, they're blooming. What's strange is a lot of them don't have actual radish bulbs on them. They're just all stalk, and I'm not really sure why. Like this one's starting to do a little bit of a one. I was able to pull and harvest some that have a radish bulb on them, but for the most part, these look like they're just going to seed and stem. It's kind of weird. My lemon cuke, this is doing well. The other one died, so I'll have to replant, but it's still somewhat early. I can still do that. I'm kind of just waiting for the rainy weather to go away a little bit more before I do that. My Portuguese Kale here, and here. There's 3 of them there. They're doing well. I harvested some leaves off of them last night. I think I'm going to try the Dinosaur Kale next year. It looks pretty interesting. Yod Pha, which is it says Yod Pha Kale. It's basically like a Chinese broccoli. You just cut the tops off. This is what the parts that you would eat looks like. So you just cut that off, and then it will grow new ones. You can see that one I've cut, and it's starting to grow new ones on there as well. If you don't catch it pretty quick, it'll flower. Beets, right here. They're the striped. They're like a candy stripe, kind of cool. Over there is an Armenian, no, I'm sorry. That is a Suyo long cucumber there. And then there are 2 Suyo long cucumbers here. And this one is doing really well. They started out really slow, and then now they're starting to take off the weather. It's getting hot enough for them. Got some flowers on them. My Armenian long cucumbers, I don't think they're gonna make it. They look pretty sad. So I'm probably gonna have to replant those. But you never know. It looks like they're trying to come back. They're making a valiant effort at least, but I don't know if they're going to end up doing anything. They did not like the cool, rainy, wet weather that we had. Amazing cauliflower. Amazing. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I have never been able to grow cauliflower before, so this is my very first time, so I'm super excited. Oh, they all got them. Broccoli, they're looking pretty good. I've harvested some heads off of them already. And when you harvest a broccoli head off of it, the main stalk like this one here, you'll get little side shoots, and so you can keep harvesting. You can see that one's got some side shoots on it as well. But man, I'm so excited to get cauliflower. Yay! All right, here is my harvest moon. It'll be like a grayish blue color. It gets about 11 to 15 pounds is what it said. I've never grown it before. And this is what it looks like right now. And it'll put several on it. It's supposed to be kind of like a cross between a pumpkin and a squash. And they are supposed to have a great shelf life. So I've got 3. I've got that one here, here, and then this one, the stem on it kinked and broke. So I cut the stem back. And I wasn't sure. I thought, well, it might make it, it might not. But it looks like it's coming back. It's just taking a little while. Again, we haven't had the greatest weather for this stuff. These next 3 are called Cuckoozy. And they are otherwise known as snake gourd. And they put out 3-foot long squash or gourds. You can eat them when they're younger. They're supposed to taste a lot like your regular, zucchini or squash. I don't see any fruits on them yet, but they have flowers. The coolest thing about them, though, is their flowers are white, and they are so pretty. So pretty. Very excited. And my coral bell and my bleeding heart. I've still got my 2 coral bells that I need to plant that I have not done, and I need to get to that this weekend so that they can get in the ground. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I haven't done it yet. My grapes are looking pretty good. I've kept them trimmed down a lot this year because it seems like every year I get a whole bunch of grapes that are really small. And so this year I've kind of kept it trimmed down to see if I can't get a good quality grape instead of an abundance. But they're starting to put their little grape stuff on, and they just grow like crazy. They'll reach out and grab you. So, like, I'll come out and I'll wind this one down, try to stuff it in here, and wind it up and around. Oh, they're starting to put the smell. They have a really strong fragrance, these grapes do. It's crazy. My baskets, hanging baskets of my flowers here, they're so pretty. Astables, there's a blue one there, chives. Now chives, interesting enough, you can eat the flowers. They're mild, or you can take them and like spread them on your baked potatoes or whatever, or use them as a garnish. They're really pretty like that. They're not quite dry enough to be able to break them out, but they're really pretty when you do that. And like I said, they have a more mild flavor. Oh, I better not do that. You know what'll happen? I'll have chives growing in the yard. Rose bushes are doing well. They're starting to put some buds on them. This is going to be it's a deep burgundy red. This one, I think this one is peach. Oh, look at that spider. He's pretty cool looking. And then that one is a yellow. It's always really puny small. I'm not sure why. This is my second strawberry patch. This is the June bears. Ooh, and looks like I've got some to start picking. Almost. Check that out. Looking pretty good. These suckers are so thick, so I really have to dig. I'm going through and get rid of all the grass that grows in there. Let's see, there's another one. Getting close. Yep. Ooh, look at that one. I think I may have to test this one. I'm telling you, there is nothing that beats fresh garden grown strawberries. My asparagus that is taking over the planet. the green and then the purple. Eggplant, I thought I was going to lose them completely, but they've done well. Now look here, see these? When you fling them like this, they fly off. I'm not sure. See, they're jumping. I'm not sure what they are, but I may need to spray these guys. They're getting kind of infested. So we'll have to put something on them because they're eating the heck out of them. My Clematis. Oh, it is so beautiful. Look at that one up there. Just absolutely gorgeous. I just wish they smelled. That's the only thing that's a bummer. But they sure are beautiful. The contrast of the blue and the burgundy-ish color, and then you got your purple here. And I don't remember what color this one was supposed to be. It looks like it may have tried to dive, and then it's not. It's variegated. It's really weird what it's doing. I don't know. But I thought I was going to lose the other one for a while, and then it turned out it came back strong. So I'm hoping that'll be the case with this one as well. Okay, here I've got a volunteer. I do believe that's a little gem, but a volunteer lettuce from last year. Habanada, they're in there. They're like your habaneros. They look like habaneros, but they are not hot. I've got 1, 2, 3 banana pepper plants. And then all the rest of these are your California Wonder bell peppers. So you can tell I've got lots of tomatoes, lots of bell peppers. I'm going to do not necessarily some salsa, but I want to do spaghetti sauce. And then I'll do diced tomatoes and just regular tomato sauce because I found that I use a lot of that. Peas, I have 2 separate kinds growing here. Oh, I'm starting to get some flowers on them. Check that out. The far side is snow peas, winter snow peas, or spring, and then this side here are your regular snap garden peas. So there's 2 different various varieties. Can't talk. They're planted pretty close. They're kind of getting wound up around each other. But peas are pretty resilient though. And I just put this up yesterday and they weren't there yet. And now look at how tall they've gotten. It's crazy how fast. We've gotten a lot of heat today. It's been hot. And so stuff is just sprouting because it was so cold. All right, so here is my Loofah Gourd. My first year growing them. I've got some little flower there. It's coming up here. I planted 1 here and 2 in this bed. The one over there died. And then I came out one day and they were just wimpy. I don't know why. But so this one I was able to cut. See, it just went limp. It's got some leaves, but I don't think it's gonna make it. So, and it's too late in the season, I think, to be able to plant them again. So I'll end up just having to plant something else in that area. I might plant some cucumbers or something instead. Maybe some more lemon cukes or something like that. Let's see, these are green beans, Desperado bush beans. Well, I've got planted in here. So they're coming up nicely, looking really well. Overall, the garden's coming along well. I have not put anything down on this bed. Like you see, I've got the shavings and stuff on the rest of them. I haven't put them down here. Not because I don't want to, I just haven't gotten to it yet. But that's on my to-do list. We've got some family coming in this weekend, so we've been busy trying to get the house together and everything else ready for company. So got some more chives here and some flowers. They're getting ready to bloom right here. And I know you're going to ask me what they are and I can't remember. And then catmint, the kitty. So I was wrong when I said that they were the Yukon gold potatoes. Oh, kitty. Actually, they are red Pontiac potatoes from Burpee. I just found the tag. I didn't get a chance to label them because I was trying to get them in really quick, and so I forgot to label them. I think when it comes to the gardening thing, the thing I struggle with the most is remembering what I planted. So I've tried to label this year, I've tried to do a really good job. I've bought little plastic labels and I've written everything on it when I've got it in little cups. And then when I take them and put them out in the garden, I put those little sticks with them as well. But things like the potatoes, where I didn't start them, I forget sometimes to put a label in them. The things that are, cat got stickers on me. The things that I have the most difficulty with are flowers. I cannot remember the names of them or what varieties they are or that kind of thing. And you know, the best way to do that is to keep a diary, a log of it, write it down somewhere. And I intend to do that, and sometimes I do, but then I forget where I wrote it down. Or, you know, like the varieties of the roses or the clematis, what the names of them are. I couldn't even tell you. And I have the tags somewhere. I keep them for good intentions. So like your clematis, there's, you know, the 1, 2, and 3, and some of them you trim back and some of them you don't. And so it's important to remember which kind you have, because it'll tell you how you're supposed to maintain and care for it. Well, if you forget or you don't know which kinds you have, well, it's kind of hard to do that. So that's something that I need to work on getting better at, is keeping records, especially of my perennial things, because I may remember this summer, but come next summer, I ain't gonna remember anymore. So that's something that I need to work on. Spacing wise, it looks like I've done a pretty good job this year. I've crowded some things, kept some things a little farther apart. I probably could have put my peppers a little bit closer, but I know they get pretty big. And so when you're starting out and you plant your plants, like your peppers, you got this little bitty plant and you stick it in the ground and it looks like everything's super far away, and you're like, man, I'm wasting so much space. But when they become mature, full mature plants, they take up a whole lot more space than what you would think. Packaging guidelines will tell you, you know, it needs to be 3 foot wide or 18 inches apart, or it gets this tall, whatever. Pay attention to that. The plants don't always get that big, and sometimes they get bigger, so it's a guideline. But you know, when you're first starting out, follow that guideline and plant them according to that. And then as you're going, you can experiment a little bit. You know, can they go a little bit closer, can they not? Peppers don't mind being crowded a bit, for example, whereas like your tomatoes, you don't want to plant them too close if you're not pruning them, because they've got to have that airflow, otherwise they can get fungus and other issues that can kill them. So it just kind of depends on what the plant is. The varieties of the plant make a big difference. I would say start out basically with your recommendation and then play with it and go from there. I'm planning on planting, let's see, what else have I got coming in that I'm going to be planting in soon. I want to do some more cucumbers, replant some of them that have died. I've got so much squash and zucchini that I'm just not even going to know what to do with it all, honestly. I'm going to give most of it away. I guess I could do a farmer's market, but I don't want to sell my produce, because I do this for fun and as a hobby, and it's something I enjoy. And I feel like if I start doing it for money, it's going to become a job, or it's not going to be as fun anymore. So I usually either give stuff to coworkers and friends and family, or like my parents live in a community-based area that a lot of people don't have access to fresh vegetables and fruit and whatnot, and I will just give it to them. I take a whole big bag of stuff and drop it off, and whoever wants it, great. You know, oh, can I pay you for it? No, I don't need any money, because I'm growing it for me. You know, so if I'm going to eat 3, 4 of them and I've got, you know, 3, 4 left over, if I don't give it away or don't use it, it's going to go to waste. So might as well give it to somebody that can use it. So I'm hesitant on doing any kind of farmer's market thing because of that reason. But I've got so much that I'll be coming up, I don't know that I'm going to know what to do with it. So, and people only want so much after a while. It seems like you can't give squash and zucchini away. People don't want them, and cucumbers. So we'll see. Unfortunately, my family aren't real big vegetable eaters. My husband and my son aren't big vegetable eaters, so it's just me, and it's hard. And some of that stuff, preserving wise, is not easy to do. So, but I like to try new things. I like to experiment, you know, and like I planted okra last year, and I hate okra, so I will never plant that again. Don't like it. So, but I wouldn't have known if I hadn't tried. So Always try something new. Excuse me. Well, I'm paying attention to traffic. It's busy out here today. It's crazy. It looks like it's getting ready to rain again. Ugh. It's been really muggy. It was 80, I think something, by 80 something today, really hot. So of course the vegetables are loving it. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I do a weekly garden tour and then other videos on occasion of things that I think are interesting, you might like, whatnot. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, happy gardening.